Welcome back, Shackers, to the Shacknews E3 2017 booth. We're here in the shadows of the Nintendo booth. We got Lawbreakers over there. My name is Asif Khan. I'm CEO of Shacknews. I'm editor-in-chief of Shacknews. We have a very special guest here to talk about Crash Bandicoot. Dan Tangler.
Yes.
From Activision? Is that your proper title? I know you guys have many studios within Activision.
I work at Vicarious Visions.
At Vicarious Visions within the Activision.
The Activision umbrella, yes.
Yes. That's a very, very strong umbrella right now.
Yes,
so, you guys, I think a lot of people were confused when I was like, yeah, we got Crash coming to the booth, but it's Activision. It's been so long known as a Sony property.
Right.
Can you explain how it's now an Activision property?
Okay. Well, what was it? 21 years ago to this point, I guess. Naughty Dog, created Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
And they needed to find a publisher. That publisher was Vivendi Universal. They then approached Sony to see if Sony wanted it on, the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
And Sony adopted Crash as their unofficial mascot. And they stayed on the PlayStation 1 through 3 games, and then through Crash Team Racing. And at that point, Naughty Dog and Vivendi parted ways, and Crash, as the intellectual property, went to Vivendi Universal. And Vivendi actually made a number of games for Crash after Naughty Dog had departed, and one of those actually I worked on. I worked on Crash Nitro Kart for Vivendi, I don't know, 2003, something like that. Oh, so long ago.
14 E3s ago.
Yeah, and then, Vivendi eventually merged with Activision, and now Activision owns Crash. But certainly, the fans and everyone has a memory of it being associated with Sony. So yeah. Sean Layden at PSX, I want to say 2015, walked out with the Crash t-shirt.
That's right.
Set the internet ablaze. And then Sony and Activision worked out a deal, and then they reached out to Vicarious Visions, and they said, hey, do you want to work on the Crash remaster? And given my history with Crash, I was like, yes. So here we are.
It's awesome to see someone who was working on the franchise bring it back and give it that nice polish.
It's great.
Instead of having, bringing in a different studio to do that, I think that's just great. Because it was, like I said, it was very much so the platformer that the Sony fans were pointing to.
Yep.
When we had our N64 and our Mario, there was Crash there, and it was right on par when it came to platform.
Oh, absolutely. It is a very pioneering title. I mean, there really weren't 3D platformers prior to Crash and Mario 64. So
yeah,
and we found that. Even certain members on our team, it is like the definitive game of their childhood. So, we take this remaster very seriously. We want to make sure we're delivering top-notch quality here.
Yeah, so let's talk about how you're going to do some fan service here. Clearly, you have a fan base that's been waiting for this for quite some time. What are the new things that you're going to bring to this that the present-day next-gen or present-gen consoles and PC? I don't know, is this coming out on PC?
This is going to be for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro.
But it could run on PC. So it's not a timed exclusive, at least for now. Cool. Well, I think that right there, you're doing some fan service to those diehards that knew it as a Sony exclusive. So I think that addresses the one kind of question that people had when I was like, yeah, Activision is coming over with Crash. They're like, huh? Yeah, let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
So what do you? Yeah.
So you're asking about what we're doing for the fans. So first and foremost, our main job was just to make this and treat this as a AAA experience. And we got a really strong team on it, who's done a lot of AAA titles in the past. And we first sat down, it's just, how do we kind of recapture that feeling, And the first thing we did to recapture that feeling was really think back to when it was released. It was a technological masterpiece for the PlayStation 1. It was among the best looking games on the PlayStation at the time. So we said, well, we need to up our game in order to really kind of make sure it captures that, memory that people have. So, we wrote new technology for the game, explicitly for this remaster, a first shader, reflection technology, and, in the hands of our incredibly capable artists and audio guys, set out to make the best looking game that we could and the best sounding game that we could.
Is this an in-house engine?
Yes.
So you guys were basically adding on to an in-house engine?
Yes. Wow. Go ahead.
You have somewhere to go. You can go. We're still talking.
Oh, I was just going to say that this is an engine that, our devs have at least 15 years of experience on. So, well, at least the ones that have been around as long as I have.
Yeah.
So, we know it inside and out. So, really helped us push things to the limit.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Donovan.
So something big that you guys are bringing to these upcoming games is a new playable character, Coco.
That's right.
So could you just tell us and our viewers a little bit about her and the decision to include her in the game?
Absolutely. So, we wanted to deliver the highest quality remaster possible, but, we're of the opinion that, there's got to be some surprises and new things.
Definitely.
Just for new players and for the returning players as well. And, man, the team was super excited about trying to get Coco in the game. And a group of them, would come into the producer's office and they'd be like, hey, let's do Coco. She's like, yeah, we don't have time, sorry. Doesn't fit in the schedule. And then somebody else, somewhere else in the team, a week later would come in like, so we're going to do Coco, right? We're like, no.
Okay.
So eventually what happened was that every so often, our studio runs game jams. You're familiar with those,
yes.
I assume, yeah? And so the core team got together and said, we're going to spend our game jam time making playable Coco. So they just put her together and showed it off, and we were like, oh boy, I think we need to find a way to fit Coco into the schedule, and that's what we did.
Nice.
Now, the key thing is we didn't want it to seem like a tacked-on effort, something cheap. We wanted to make sure that, she felt like, a fully playable character, and really not, just kind of, it comes down to like personality, I think, and making sure that, everything that Crash can do, she can do.
Yeah.
And, obviously there's moves and jumping and things like that, but, Crash has over 100 death animations. So we needed to make sure that Coco had a respectable amount of death animations, timeouts, transitions, just everything that made her feel like, a complete full character.
Yeah.
And so it took a bit of time for us to do that, but, we're incredibly pleased with the results and we're excited to share it with everyone.
That's awesome.
Do you have anything else?
No, that was what I was talking about.
All right.
So when is this coming out?
So this is coming out June 30th. Pretty soon. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a fine time to be at E3 for you guys.
Yes. It's, I don't know, 17, 16, my math is a little off, but it's not far away.
What day is it?
Yeah.
How long have we been at E3 for?
I've been here since Sunday doing press. So.
Yeah, we got here Friday, so
Yep.
this is day 2.
Got me
But
beat.
yeah, day 5 for us. Well, no, I think so. Let's talk about the art style of this game.
Sure.
And what kind of inspired it, because I think at the time, what was really cool about it was that this was a kind of futuristic setting.
Yeah.
So what kind of inspirations did you guys draw from?
Yeah. So, the original games, like the first game, really actually was a little more jungle set.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second game, they expanded their palette. Third game, they went time travel. And pretty much that allowed them to, everything from ancient Egypt to Roman Colosseums to futuristic levels. And so the artists had a great time with that. But when we looked for inspiration, obviously we went back to the original game, but we felt since we had to really kind of capture the spirit of Crash and bring up that quality level to what players expect these days, we dug further. We went back to, the original Naughty Dog concept art. We went back to pretty much anything we could find online, even the old commercials. Mm-hmm. And then even further back, especially for our animators and cinematics teams, we started looking at those things that inspired Naughty Dog in the first place. Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. and we just soaked all those influences in and really tried to, you know, capture what Crash was really about and get it back on the screen again.
Yeah, because I think an important part of Crash, especially at the very beginning, was his personality.
Yep.
And so many of those characters from Looney Tunes, from like those old school cartoons, had that.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't just, you had characters that were cartoons that never said a word, but they had attitude.
Oh yeah, have attitude, and they're totally expressive, and you know, yeah, it is amazing what you can do even without words.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. And are we, you know, have they done cinematic work with this character yet, or any kind of like series? Have you thought of that, like actual video form content for Crash?
Sorry.
Huh?
So,
like actual taking Crash,
okay,
and actually making a cartoon out of it.
I am unaware if they've done anything like that in the past with them, and I honestly don't know what Activision's plans are for them in the future yet.
Well, you know, under the Activision umbrella, there's another company called Overwatch that has done some really great cinematics for Overwatch. So I was just curious if that's something that could maybe appeal to this new young group of people that don't know the story.
Yeah, I imagine it could. Yeah.
Cool.
But
free idea.
Yeah, thank you. But,
you're welcome.
Yeah. No, the cinematics we put together, though, I think the fans are going to be pretty excited about. You know, our team previously did the Crash Bandicoot action pack for Skylanders Imaginators, so they got to warm up a little with that. And then we set them loose on all the Crash cinematics, and wow, you know, it is quite glorious to see, you know, Crash and Cortex and all his evil henchmen, you know, scheming modern technology, rendering, and all that stuff. So,
sure, yeah,
thrilled.
I think, you know, because this is a platformer, and you know, you're the designer of this game. I kind of want to get in your head about how you view platforming. What do you think makes a fun, immersive platforming experience that people are going to want to play? You know, because when you make a story campaign like this, people are going to be playing for hours.
Right.
How do you keep it fresh?
Right.
You know?
So I think, you know, one of the key things that we really wanted to focus on was kind of finding that line between challenge and frustration. And, you know, the original games are pretty challenging games, right? And some people would call them a little frustrating. And we wanted to make sure that we removed any of the obvious frustrations, you know. And there's some basic examples. I mean, the original game had a password system. We kind of jettisoned that and put in a save game system. But, you know, even when you're looking, you know, at just even specific jumps or AI, you know, we wanted to make sure that the challenge was effectively communicated. So, you know, to give you an example, there's in the second game, a lab assistant who has, like, you know, electricity hands, and he comes in to attack you, and in the original, you really didn't get too much of a sense of when he was going to attack, so you might get a little frustrated. So we just added a little telegraph to him to make sure that you knew he was going in for an attack. You know, and it's just simple things like that that reduce the frustration but keep the challenge for the players. But other things, I think, in keeping a platformer fresh, to go back to your question, Crash 3 really did well was the addition of time trials. And that allowed players, after they completed the story, to go back again and again and just try and get the best time going through. And these are particularly clever time trials because they're time crates that allow you to stop the clock. So there is a golden path to try and get through the level. So we had to build that anyways. We were like, well, geez, why don't we just add that to all 3 games? And I think that's something that fans are going to be super excited about, because now all 3 games, that's like 80 plus levels of time trials out of the box for players. And we can announce now that we have online leaderboard support too. So you can compete with your friends, your foes.
All 3 titles, time trials, online leaderboard support. Wow.
So
that's awesome.
That's a ton of replay value.
Yeah. Hardcore fans and especially the speedrunners are going to have a field day, I hope, with this. So
no, it sounds like you definitely answered my question with keeping it fresh. And like Dom had said, a lot of replay value.
Yes, we definitely want people to keep playing Crash once.
So I think at some point I get kind of tired of collectibles being that thing, and I think it's cool when you have trials or different things that you can try to get high scores at. Yeah, no, this has been awesome having you here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You know, really, thank you for stopping by and talking about this game. It comes out on the 30th of June.
Yeah, it's very
How much does it cost?
I believe it's $39.99.
Wow.
I believe. Yeah.
We'll Google it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's probably going to be a great deal for that price.
You know, and especially those folks who got some free time over the summer, go ahead and play it.
My backlog, though.
Yeah, mine too.
How's your backlog doing?
Oh, my backlog is huge. Huge.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. You're always welcome back at the Shacknews E3
thank you.
booth. You know, so I don't know if you saw our meme wall on the other side.
I have not yet. I'll go check it out after.
We'll go check it out.
All right.
Everyone, stay tuned. We have more awesome people from Activision coming to talk about new games.
Yeah.
Because we love new games. I think we have some Destiny talk.
Yeah, we love making them.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.